doing a deadlift exercise that also includes overhead press and a few other bits and pieces. And oddly enough, the reason that I'm doing this particular sort of sets of exercises is because it is to help both increase my shoulder strength, so that's easier to carry weights while I'm walking a marathon with a weighted vest. And then the other one is to strengthen the stability muscles around my knee, so that when I'm running a marathon, not walking a marathon with a weight vest, but actually running a marathon, that it is more stable, and it's not kind of like, you know, moving the wrong way to the side and having these other muscles working that aren't necessarily meant to work in that particular way. So, very odd workout to think that a strength workout is what you would do for marathon training, but what are you going to do? Alright, so seeing as how this bar is already kind of set up, ready to go, let's start with overhead press. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, what do you need to do to drive it off? I know it's got the mag. Yeah, yeah. What you got to do is you might need to put a bit of string around that or something just to make sure that doesn't happen again, because I think that moved over. You are hanging right there, you'll be nice. Okay, now we'll do a deadlift. This needs to be taken out first though. It's going to fall all over the place, so let's prevent that from happening. So just do 10, 60 kilos. Now, I got a very annoying mosquito bite, I don't know when, probably last night, and it is, you're not going to be able to see it because it's very small, but it's right on the border of my finger. So, it's this really annoying itchy feeling every single time I pick anything up now. And normally I have this little heater thing. It must be inside, but there's this little heater thing. It gets up to like, I don't know, like 80 degrees or something. Not boiling, but very hot. It is a little bit painful, but what it does is whenever you have a bite, you put it on, and for whatever reason, it just stops the itching almost instantly. Very, very effective. I highly recommend getting one. They're only like 20 quid. I think they're called like thermal bite or something. And they're portable as well, which is handy, right? Like, you know, that big. But I can't, I've tried to, but I can't get at it. I can't get at the angle because it's like at this weird, kind of difficult angle to get into. So, yeah, you're just going to see me fiddling with this hand for the whole exercise set. Alright, pull-ups next. We'll move this back a little bit just so there's much more space. So we'll just do 6 reps to warm up. We'll do 8. We'll do 8. So the way I do my workouts is I usually do 3 different ones throughout the week, and they kind of teeter up and down. So one day I'll do 5 things with 5 repetitions, but make the weights heavier. Sorry, make the weights lighter. And the next day it's 4 repetitions of pretty much everything, when the weights get a little higher. And then the next day it's reps of 3, and the weights get higher still. Today is 4 reps. Now the idea of that is just to break up the monotony, because those reps aren't massively different. However, something that I find that's really good for just your own self-esteem and seeing your own progress and confidence and all, like enjoying the actual workouts themselves, is you kind of see realistic but false progress at the same time. It's hard to explain, even though it's quite simple. It's basically every day you go in, if you're doing good for consistency, you'll see every day you're improving. But that's because you haven't done the reps of 5 in, 2 weeks or something. But you've been doing similar exercises up until that point. So it's a good way to look at, 2 weeks ago you were strong enough to lift whatever weight for 100 kilos for 5 reps, but this day you're able to do it for 102 for 5 reps. So it's really fun. Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. So next is single leg. No. Brazilian split squat. Okay. So you need to go away then. So this is something that you guys can participate in yourself if you want. This is an exercise that you can blast it out loads if you want to make it very hard cardio-wise. But for me, it is hard to do, but it's more focused on the stability of the muscle. So it's more getting to the kind of the small muscles that are more about balancing yourself. And lots of the work that I do, my physios show me to do, is all about single leg stuff. Now, where is the... There you are. So a lot of the reason why it's a lot of it is single leg stuff is just simply because as you run, it's always lots of single leg work. It's just you do both of them very fast, so you kind of feel like that's not what the exercises are. But that's what, you don't hop, you don't frog leap during a marathon, you don't frog leap when you're out running. You have one leg doing the work and then the other one takes over. It's just they're very synchronized. So that's why all of these exercises, well, a lot of these exercises are single leg stuff. It's to isolate the problem. So I'm going to just do the warm-up. I always try to make, whenever you do stuff like this particularly, a good way to make sure that you are always doing the exact same things. Put markers down on the floor. So for me here, this mat has lots of little bumps on it, and so every single time I do this exercise I always make sure that there's exactly 4 bumps ahead of my big toe, and so that way it's consistent. It means that I'm not like kind of out here doing the exercises, which is working different muscles, versus if I was back here You know, it's a similar looking exercise to do, but different muscles get worked. So this way, it's always the same. Six, just doing 10. Okay, switch legs. Okay. So now it's a overhead press again. Catch my breath. That last one was kind of hard on the lungs. You guys can decide, are we going to do another sort of more repetitions for this warm-up set, or should we increase the weight? First person in any of the live streams to say weight or reps, that's the one that we'll adhere to. Very first person who I see saying either of those words decides. Weight! Tighten is in there. Okay, so we'll increase the weight and we'll lower the reps. So that will be 65. Let me just check what we were at for 4. I think 4 was really cool. I think I hit 70. That was a really good day though. I was feeling fairly powerful. Yeah, 4 for 70. I don't know if that will be the same today, but we'll make our way up. Let's see where we're at. Okay, so we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. One more. Okay. Do deadlifts next. Okay, so same question. Do we want to warm up with more repetitions or more weight? First person to say reps or weight will decide. Rosie got in there with repa. I'm gonna take that as reps. I'm not an English teacher. I'm not here to do spelling corrections. Okay, so more reps. So we're still increasing the weight, but we're not going to increase it a large amount. We'll get these 20s, take it up to 100 kilos. And be another one nearby. Where are you hiding? Where have you fled to? Ah, there it is. So this one, we'll just try for more than 10. And while I'm doing the repetitions, I might ask the same sort of question for the football later on tonight. What do you think? Who's going to win? England or Norway? I don't know a huge amount about football. I'm watching the World Cup because it's historic. It's a historic event around the world, and I feel like you really shouldn't. It only comes every 4 years. You really shouldn't miss it. If it was the rugby, I'd be glued to it. Like I'm not glued to the football, but I'm watching a lot of it. But I would be glued to the Rugby World Cup, which should be good fun next year. Ireland's not looking as strong as we were last time, but we didn't even make it past the quarterfinals last time. We never have. Ireland have never made it past the quarterfinals when it comes to rugby. But yeah, England, Norway. I prefer to see England win. I know I'm not allowed as an Irish person to support England, but like I live in London. I want to see chaos. I want to see everyone go fucking nuts. You know. And of course, those are my family and those are my friends are English. So I mean, like, what's the word? Spreading of happiness. The happier they are, the more that's going to bounce back on me. So, any Irish person living in England, the logical choice is not necessarily to support England, but to want them to win is just the logical thing. It just means the people around you are going to be in a better mood. Happiness, much like hatred, is contagious. Let's see. What do people think? What are the match predictions? Norway or... Okay. I'm going to take it the person who showed a little bear sticky into the live stream there. They're saying Norway because Norway has bears, whereas England does not have bears. That's what I'm basing it off of. You can't be saying Spain for the whole World Cup. That's not the question. The question is, this particular game tonight at 10 o'clock. Anyone but England, yeah. Alright. Pull-ups. We're still in the second round of warming up. So, do people want to see more repetitions on the pull-ups or more weight? Should I start adding weight to the pull-ups, or should I put more weight out, more repetitions into it? First person to say weight or reps. You can use the first letter if you're in a hurry for it. If you just say W or if you say or, I'm fine with that. Weight, yeah, weight it is. Okay, so we'll put the weight vest on and we'll do a few. Come on, little fella, there. Okay, so where's tens? Where are them tens at? this weight vest is notoriously dangerous. This chain is just kind of the right length so that if you're not putting it on where it's kind of loose and it's flapping around, it's just the perfect height to whack it right on the middle of the shin, which has happened far too many times. Now when I do pull-ups, I always end up kind of flicking my hips, which if you were to be doing a pull-up competition they wouldn't allow that. Now I don't do it all the time, but I do it towards the end when things are getting hard. But I do that all the time. So for me, it's consistent. So if there's anyone who's like a big pull-up enthusiast, and they're like, no, that's a perfect form. I don't care. I'm not in a pull-up competition. And with certain exercises, as long as you're doing them consistent, I don't feel it matters about what your form is, unless it's poor form. You know, you can do a deadlift with a dangerous form to your back. You can say for a squat, whoops, not so much. That's good. 10 for 10. And now same question for single leg. Oh no, not single leg. Bulgarian split squats. More repetitions or more weight? As always, first person to get in there wins. Very first person, the letters will do fine. If someone says rep, yeah, okay. Is that, come on, Evan wants reps. Reps it shall be. So I'll strip this off. First. So we'll aim for a higher amount of repetitions, but because this is the second circuit, we are going to increase weight by a small amount. So and spread the tens out. So while I'm doing these, I'll ask the question now, who do you think is going to win the whole World Cup? The whole tournament? We'll see how many people say which country, and we'll do a little, we'll make a tally for most votes. Democracy! I don't know if I've already said who I think is going to win, but if I haven't, I'll say it at the end because I don't want to skew people's opinions. All right, so 10 reps, 10 kilos each arm. One more. Sorry, just flying my arm. This garden is really, really bad for mosquitoes. It's not that the time of day for them, but still they're very much around. So let's actually. This is the fun. Alright, let's do the other leg. I don't know what it is. Some people just have like blood that's more tasty for mosquitoes. I'm definitely on the end that like I'm fucking a feast to them. I fucking love it. Unfortunately for me, I know one thing that contributes to it. Not necessarily alcohol, but beer. Which is a big L shame because Christ knows that is one of my favourite things in the whole wide world. But apparently that's the thing, where if you drink specifically beer, there's a particular chemical that will then come out of your sweat, and that's like, you know, freshly made, like, you know, Michelin star level steak for a mosquito. More. 10. Okay. Next, overhead press. First person to say more reps or more weight will decide. All the way up to, like, my warm-ups, some people make, like, they say stupid shit where it's like, oh, my warm-up is your workout. I hate that condescending sort of nonsense. But the way I particularly like to warm up is, if my goal is to lift a certain amount of weight for a certain amount of reps, I'll just slowly keep inching my way up, like climbing a mountain. So my body's well warmed up at this stage. I still consider every single thing up until the very last set of the whole routine. I would consider all of that the warm-up. It's all prep for the final thing. And then usually I would just do the final thing once, sometimes twice if I have the time, but generally it's just once, and then that's the workout done. So we can tinker around with ranges up until then. So let's scroll back. Let's see what was the last 1, that someone says. Evan was with the W. Looks like a few people were saying the same thing. Yep. We're going for weight. It would seem. Yeah, sorry. Sorry guys who are on YouTube. Oh, hello! Drummer, yes. Nice to see you, Drummer. I don't know what the thing is with comments on oh, here we go. Hide all chat messages. No, I don't want to do that. What's this? Messages are visible. Yeah, there we go. No chat. Oh, here, I'll get on with this. Sorry, people on YouTube. I don't know why it doesn't show up the things that people have previously said. It's annoying. Okay, so last time we did 65, increasing the weight now to 67. And the same thing for TikTok. Every time someone, and the same thing for Facebook as well. Actually, they have these two stupid systems where every time a new person is looking at the live stream, that comes up. It's like, that's not helpful because then I can't see what someone has said. For me, that's the whole point of doing a live stream, so you're communicating with people. Okay. 75. 4 reps. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just going to move this mat back because it's this is just a deck that I work out on, so the panels underneath are a little bit unbalanced. And whenever you can get rid of any little annoyance, like, you know, there's a couple of branches digging into your feet, if you can get rid of them, just do it. If you can't, tolerate it, but if you can get rid of them, don't have any distractions. So something to be very aware of whenever you're doing an overhead press, particularly if you are doing a heavy one like this with a barbell. Very important to make sure you're not leaning back way too much like this, because your back kind of, it curls and then you're putting pressure on it in an awkward way. You don't want to be doing that. There's a few cues that work really well to prevent you from doing that. Just in general, this is always a good one, is the more stiff you can make the rest of your body, even if you're not lifting from that area. So like if I'm tensing up my bum and my stomach, that worked well for doing a bench press, it worked well for doing an overhead press. Think of it as if you're putting up furniture and you're putting something heavy on the top of like a wardrobe or whatever. You want the foundation of that piece of furniture to be weighted down and stiff. You don't want something wobbly like, you know, this sign here. I wouldn't want to put a heavy amount of weight on that. So you're doing the same thing in concept. You get a nice sort of wide base, squeeze your bum together, and then this is all really solid. It's not moving around, it's not loose like this. And that actually makes it easier on your shoulders to go up and down. So do that. Squeeze your bum real tight, even when you're doing a pull-up. Same thing. I can't remember what they call the term. It's like, I think it's energy leakage, something like that. And it's when your body is kind of flopping around all over the place. It just means it's harder for you to pull up. And a simple example of that would be, consider how hard it is to carry a shopping bag full of groceries, or just a load of groceries, an awkward bag, versus, you know, a 10 kilo weight which is designed to be moved around and held. If you could think of, like, you know, how easy do you think you could pick a child up that weighs 10 kilos, you know? Do you think you could just move them around like that? No, of course not. even if they were completely unconscious and weren't like squirming around and being like, ah! You know, it would still be an awkward thing to do because there's no solid center of gravity. So that's what you're doing here. Base. Nice and solid.
Sorry about the stuff in the hallway.
Ah.
Thank you.
But I will be here tomorrow.
Okay.
Just let you know.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, if you need that, just let me know.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you.
Well, I'm gonna, you don't bother me.
Do it there.
It doesn't bother me.
Okay, thank you.
What I was trying to tell you, sorry, man.
Sorry.
What I was trying to tell you,
Yeah.
I want to put a tank here.
Okay.
Put it, because so the rainwater from the come in a tank. So that way I don't have to use because I'm on a meter. Right? So whenever we want to come from the roof, put in a tank.
Woo.
That way I can
Now,
explain to you.
I had a good day. I was on a very good day when I did that 70 kilo for 4 repetitions. Today might not be that day. If I can't do it again, that's fine.
That's how it's going to tell you.
Whenever you're progressing, particularly with anything really, but weights as an example. Your good days, you're up here, and then the next day, you know, you're down a bit here. But if you stay consistent, what happens is you go down, then you come back up, and then you come back up. That's how the progress works. It's no different to like my social media channel. Every day, the average day, I would lose, I think it's 5,000 followers, which is, well, on Instagram anyway. Instagram has nearly 10 million followers, so to scale, that's not actually a huge amount. To scale, 5,000 is fucking huge. You know, in other contexts, I don't like 5,000 on YouTube as an example. That would be going from 90,000 to 95,000. So that's massive. That's like what is that? 5% increase? Slightly more than 5% because it's 90. So it'd be, I think, 6% increase, which is huge. You know, in one day. However, every so often I'll make a good video and that will bring in like, you know, 20,000 new followers or something like that. And so that cancels out the previous thing. So it goes up the same way. It's hard to tolerate because you're looking at something and you feel like, oh, my progress is going bad, but it's not. You just have to keep hammering away at it every day. Consistency. Consistency conquers everything. So I might not be as strong today as I previously have, you know, maybe a week ago or whatever it was. That doesn't matter. This workout today will mean that in 2 weeks I have a far better chance of either going past that or matching it. And then 70 kilos, 4 repetitions, that's now just the default. That's normal for me at that point, if I stay consistent. And you can apply that to so many stuff that you do in your own life. If it's, you know, getting better at the piano. One day you are just so sharp and you just nail the piece of music that you've been working on for a while. And then the next day you try it and you're nowhere near as good and you're thinking, why? You apply it to anything, apply it to the sport you're playing and maybe you have one day you have a good game. And then 3 weeks later you're terrible and you can't understand the reasons why. You just keep working on it. And eventually that day, that was excellent, that was a really good day, one of your best days, that just becomes every day, if you keep doing it. There's some fantastic sports star, I can't remember who it was, and he had an amazing thing, it might have been Michael Jordan, where it was just like, if you continue to like consistently aspire to like do the best of yourself over time, excellence eventually just becomes habit. Which is just like, it's very true, but it's also like, you know, blows the hair back a bit. Okay, next we are doing deadlifts. First person to write down or say the letter or reps, or the little W for weight. That will determine whether this is more repetitions or more weight. First person shall be the decider. see, what do we got? What do we got? Looks like we have a W there. We got a W. W. W came in first.
Yeah, but I mean, and now I don't know what market anymore. So I respect that guy there. It's fine, that's what it's like, you know, so. And then the car park, they got a big, gonna come to the next. Before they somebody who needs the car, so they get space, you know. I can't take that no more. Listen, they want to the tax man look after me. I look after them for 59 years. So they gotta look after me now.
Alright, so weight was the request. So that is
Oh, I'll be here. You get some.
10. So we'll bring it up to 130.
I'll have to take that thing down. Yeah. What we can do, we don't just take our shoes off, walk on the carpet, take it to the
Name a country's flag that only has red, blue, and green. So you can't say like South Africa or Seychelles or something. If there's like black or white in it because it's like got lines or whatever, I'll accept that, but it's got to be mostly blue, red, and green. And actually, you know what you have to answer it as? For proof, yeah, no, Bulgaria's wrong. Bulgaria is white, red, and green. You have to use the emoji. Yeah, Seychelles does. But it also has green. My point being is that the flag has to be mostly green, red, and blue. Same color as the weights. That's the task.
Not really. I don't want to
Okay.
do that thing. So I'll cut them
My hands are a little bit sweaty, so I'm going to use the gloves for this one. It's a humid day. Alright, so this is 130 kilos. So we're only aiming for 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And it's almost always the problem with this for me will be my grip. My grip is not particularly strong. But I try to do as much of this before I add the wraps, which go around your wrists and severely increase how strong your grip is. Because it's kind of like, well, they're weak now. They're going to stay weak unless you actually try and train them. One more. Yeah, it's always the grip that loses first. It'd be fucking grueling, but I wouldn't be surprised if I could do 20 reps like that with the weight grips. I'm not going to because I know I'd be fucking wrecked for the rest of the day. I'd be getting cramps all over my arse and my back, and I don't want to get into that situation for the rest of the day. I would like to enjoy myself at the World Cup later on. And then also, whenever you push yourself too far, you're not really able to train the next day. And I am a strong believer that you should put in 80% effort and then train the next day. You know? Next day, next day, next day, next day, next day. It's just more consistent. And I think it strengthens your mind more than anything else, because you don't have this kind of like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow attitude. You have this attitude of every single day is when you show up. And then you also have the discipline within yourself to not listen to your ego when it's saying, go harder, go harder, go harder, you've got the fucking strength, do it. It's like, nope. I'm gonna hold back. I'm gonna train tomorrow. Consistency over vanity. Alright, pull-ups. So, I'm going to take these weights off for the overhead press that's coming next. While I'm doing that, you guys want to decide if it's going to be more reps on the pull-ups or more weight for the pull-ups. First person to say W or the word reps or weight. Let's see what we got. We have a lot of oars. Venus. Jay asks, am I passing away from cancer? I mean, like, yes. Not. Hopefully not anytime soon, but I mean, it's last scan showed no growth, but I get a scan all the time, so I wouldn't say it's cured in any way. So that's done. Shit! Sorry, I'm after losing my train of thought there. Let's see, what did all the people say? I mean, a lot of people are saying, like, oh, they're being a couch potato. It's like, well, I mean, I was watching the Ireland game earlier on. I was being a couch potato. Everybody has their time off, and if you don't have your time off, your life is boring. Where the hell? I saw a lot of people right now. Okay, the last person to say something was or for reps. Ah, yes, Venus. Yeah, I remember her as the thing. I like planets and gods and shit. Here's a tricky one for you. Of all the planets in the solar system, which planet is currently not named after a Roman or a Greek god? There's only one. Name the planet. In the meantime, I'm going to get the weight test on. So for anyone who's just joined in, I'll repeat no, it's not Saturn. The question is, name the one planet in the solar system that is not named after a Greek or Roman god or goddess. The sun is not a planet. Nope. Mars, nope. Mars and Ares are the gods of war. like they're all the same gods. Saturn is Jupiter. Oh, sorry, Saturn is Kronos. Jupiter is Zeus. The Roman gods are the same as the Greek gods, except they're just named different. That's all. Now, that said, there are still some of the planets that are named after Greek gods, specifically. Like you will come to me. Alright, so we're going for 4 repetitions. 1, 2, 3, 4. And pull-ups for 4 reps, 20, what's that here? 30, pull-ups. Let's go 25. See, have we had any answers? Uranus is correct, as it's one of the only Greek named gods. Uranus was the father of Kronos. Uranus was well, most of the gods were pricks, and then they got killed by another god or another titan, or like something else happened to them, or they, all that's like the Greek mythology is bleak, very, very bleak. It's amazing. Like they're such fun stories. I really love them. Read Stephen Fry's, all of Stephen Fry's books about Greek mythology. I love them so very much. But yeah, I can't remember what the exact story was. He was basically being a scumbag to Gaia. Mother Earth, and Uranus was the sky god, and so he captured it, and it was like kind of perceived as he would every night he would finish up and he would like hug the Earth, being Gaia, and then she didn't like that though. He kind of hugged her without like consent a lot, and so she wasn't a fan of that. And then Kratos, he eventually got pissed off that like this guy's being mean to my mother, and so he basically sliced his balls off with a fucking what was the thing called? A scythe. And that killed him. Well, it didn't kill him, but it just like, it made him feel real like unmanly or whatever and weakened. And so, according to Greek mythology, when you look up at the stars, there's like particular, is it the stars? No, it's not the stars, there's like a rock shore. There's a particularly white watered rock shore. And that's basically what they said happened with Uranus' balls that he pretty much chopped off, spread all over the Mediterranean Sea, and that's where these like frothy sort of tides came from. It's like Greek mythology is full of mad shit like that. And then Kronos, he then started being a fucking weirdo, married his sister, and then started eating all of his children because there was a Uranus. He sent out this like evil spell, or like a prophecy. He sent out this prophecy, and he said to Kratos, the damn fucking god of war is in my head too much. Kronos, he said to him, you have killed your father and taken the throne of like the gods. Your son will do the same to you. And so he got really scared of that. And so he started eating his kids. And that's kind of the whole story of how Zeus became the god of all the gods. Basically, there was a trick done. He made his father sick. All the other gods that he had eaten got thrown up. They were the Olympians, and Kronos was the Titan. And then that's how like the Olympians and the Titans, they fought against each other. I would highly recommend you look into the stories of Greek mythology, because there's a reason they've lasted 3,000 years or however long. They're fucking interesting. Okay, repetitions. Okay, so I think we're past the warm stages now for most of the exercises. So I appreciate everybody's input, but now it's me against the world. Oh, except for split squats. You guys can keep doing. You guys can keep deciding that one. And now to go back to my initial question of what's the only planet in our solar system that's not named, that doesn't have a title after a Greek or a Roman god. I'll see, did anyone get it? Let's see. No, not Venus. Venus. I think Venus is Aphrodite, goddess of beauty, which is really Earth. Correct. Cinnamon One Girl is correct. Earth. Earth is either called Gaia or Terra, depending on Roman or Greek mythology. So that's where the word terraform, or territory, all those sort of words that are related to like sort of ground or spaces are often related to the word terra coming from Earth. Okay, so pull-ups, split squats. And I think you can apply the same thing for Gaia. I'm not sure about this one, but I think the word geo comes from the word Gaia. Don't quote me on that one. I know like words like oh god, what's it with the steam blasts out? Geysers. I'm pretty sure geyser comes from the word Gaia. Yeah, all the other ones are Mercury. Mercury is speedy guy. Speedy, really intelligent guy. Hermes. Then Aphrodite is Venus. Earth is Gaia and thing. Then Mars is Aries, god of war. God of War was also meant to be with Venus, which is where that book comes from. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus, because they're both based off of the male and female gods. Then it's Jupiter and Zeus, Saturn, and Kratos. Uranus, I can't remember what the Roman version of him is. Neptune and Poseidon, and then Pluto is Aries. Aries? Hades. Who's Aries? Maybe I'm combining Hera and Aries. Maybe I'm thinking about my testicles. They're my Aries. I shake. Okay. So we're doing split squats. First person to say weighted, or first person to say reps, decides are we going to be doing more reps or more weights. First person in the comment section, in the chat section. Yep, Pluto's Hades. Weighted. Alright, yep, 2 people in for weighted. Although I think Richard was actually in first for reps, so fair is fair. If anyone doesn't know, I've got like multiple phones doing live streams from different channels at the moment, so not everybody's in the same chat. chat room. Okay. So we're going for reps on this one. So we're aiming for 10, and we have 20 kilos in each hand. Six, 7, 8, 1 more. Oh, Jesus. It's easy breezy until you get to like rep 7, and then oh boy, it wakes up quick. Alright, I'll give you another geography question while I'm catching my breath to do the next set. Name the one and only country that its flag does not contain any of the colours red, white and blue. Red, white and blue are not allowed into the flag at all. So Ireland wouldn't have it because we have white in our flag, as you can see. England and Norway are way out. They're way out there. And again, there's only one country. I'll give you one little clue. It's not outrageously obscure. It's not like, you know, the Marshall Islands or something like that. The Federated States of Micronesia. The Central African Republic. North Macedonia, you know what I mean? Like it's not that complicated. I'll give you a clue, another clue. If you live in New York or London, there's no way you have not seen this flag. You'd see it more in Miami, I reckon. Miami and London, there's no way you don't see this flag. Two more. Oh. Jesus. Okay. Let's see. Do we have any winners? The country in the world, the one and only country in the world that does not have red, white or blue in its flag. Alright, let's see. Do we have any winners? Do we have any winners? No, Germany has black and red. Oh, sorry, it has red. Let's see. Hey, who are you? No, Nepal's just red, white, and blue. It's not. No, it's not France. Cuba, nope, that's all red, white, and blue. No, it's not Azerbaijan, but Azerbaijan is correct to the question that I asked earlier on, which was name a country with blue, red, and green. Jamaica is correct. Well done to Kamala? Kamala? I feel like that is like. What there? Oh God. Carmela. That's one. No, is it? Oh God. I know a girl with a similar name like that. I can't remember it now though. It's not exactly Camilla. Camilla. Camilla! Oh that's it, yeah. Camilla, yeah, there you go. Camilla, well done, yeah, you got it. Dan got before that. Dan 85. Yeah, Jamaica. Who else? Yeah, Dan was in there already. Much love from Japan. Sorry we gave you a good beating in the rugby earlier on. I do love seeing Japanese rise up though. I have a minor vendetta against the Japanese rugby team, seeing as how you guys knocked us out when you were hosting the rugby. What was it, 8 years ago now? So I suppose 10 years ago. But I do love seeing Japanese rise up in rugby. Why am I getting flagged? I don't know. Is that a flag joke? Excuse me. But yeah, well done, Jamaica is the correct answer. What the fuck is that? Oh, no. Okay, overhead press. You know what, I'll leave it up to you guys to decide. Should I go for 70s? Turn on restrictions. Use hard gestures to. I will not be. Fuck off. I will not turn on. Oh, reactions. Okay, that's alright. I thought that said, do you want to turn on restrictions? It's like, fucking no. Oh, Samsung. You probably know this, but what are the only two flags that are the exact same? There's many flags that are similar. As an example, here's an Irish flag. Here's a Côte d'Ivoire flag. I think that's India. That's Niger, if you put a orange button in there. But there are two flags. There are only two flags that are the exact same. Name the two countries. One of them would be fairly well known, the other one would be a bit more obscure. And I'll go one more clue for you. One country is in Europe, one country is in Africa. Okay, we're going for 4 repetitions. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, we're going for 4 repetitions. 1, 2, 3, 4. that was good. I might be able to. I'll give 70 a go. I'll give it a go. I think I have a safe chance. Now, when I say the word safe, I don't mean that as in like a gambler's. You know, it's a safe bet. I mean the safety of my body. That is something that not enough people worry about when they go down to the gym. The ego gets in the way. You try and lift something that is, you know, an amount of weight that you can get to the position that you want it to get to, but your body has to get into a weird position in order to achieve that. And that's where you pull, you know, a muscle, you strain a muscle, you overwork a muscle that's not used to it, and then you're not able to train. If you're lucky, you're not able to train the next day. If you're very unlucky, you know, you hurt your knee permanently. I did that, not on this knee, but on both knees. Yeah, both knees when I tore ligaments in my knees. It was both from just trying to work out or trying to exercise while I was really tired. And I damaged both of them because I was landing on my foot the wrong way, and then I got meniscus damage in this knee. And then later on, when I was doing 32 county thing, I was not stretching and training enough, and I was not running the right way. And there you go, I hurt my leg. And now I've just got to deal with that for the rest of my life now. I am never going to have fully healed knees. I'm never going to be able to just like fucking bolt. I'm never going to be able to sidestep. You know, I can't play like I didn't want to play I didn't want to play rugby anymore, really, because just head injuries. Like particularly like after getting a fucking brain tumor, I don't want to risk any more damages to my noggin. But like I loved touch rugby. It was great fun. But, you know, I can't sidestep anymore. Well, I can, but I mean, like if I was to do it over and over again, eventually I'd land on the wrong sort of angle and fuck my knee up, and then I wouldn't be able to do marathons. And had I not done those fitness classes where I was just pushing myself beyond what was a safe amount of effort for me, can't do it anymore now. Same thing with jiu-jitsu. If like, I'm so tempted to get back to it, I really am. But it's the same thing where even though I think I could do it, I think I'm physically able to do it now. I think the chances of a risk to a knee injury is just so high that it's not worth the risk. If I didn't have any knee problems, I think I'd still be doing jiu-jitsu while I was training for marathons, because I'd have enough of a safety gap between, like, you know, going a bit too far in one versus going a bit too far in the other one. Whereas I'm not able to risk that anymore. I'm sure a lot of people will be looking at me like, you're lifting heavy weights, how the fuck are you, is it like, you know, hard for you to run a marathon? And you'd be surprised. You wouldn't think about it because you walk around on your body all the time, but your body, let's just use like an average male body, you know, you weigh about 80 kilos. This weighs 110. And think about how much you struggle to get like 110 kilos. You gotta reef that fucking thing up. Lifting 80 kilos over your head, that is immensely difficult to do. Now consider that, like, you know, it doesn't look like much, but you're putting 80 kilos all on, up and down on that thing. Now imagine you're doing that for fucking 4 hours if you're quick. And now also imagine that if you're doing it fast, that means you're probably jumping up fairly high, so you're going high, and then that increases how much of the impact is. So if you imagine how much, if you have a weighing scale, you jump onto a weighing scale, how much the weight is going to shoot up before it stabilizes. That's what you have to consider for when you're running a marathon, and how hard it is on your joints. Your body is designed to move that way. That's why we have the Achilles. Fucking bird fly. Did you see that? No, I think you guys missed it. Anyway, that's why we have the Achilles tendon. It's basically your Achilles tendon here. That is basically like a spring. And if you ever see the way like a kangaroo bounces along the ground, humans do that. We just don't do it with like 2 feet. We do it with 1 foot. Bounce around like that. And that's why we're such good. You wouldn't think it, but we're actually the best mammals. We're the best animals in general. We're the best animals for long distance running. Long distance running. That is unbelievable to think about. But in hot weather, you know, with a huge amount of training, we can run further than horses. Horses will be able to go further than us if the temperature is cooler, because we as human beings are actually really good at regulating our heat. You wouldn't think it because we're in a heat wave at the moment. We're like, oh god. But think about this. Think about taking your dogs out for a walk. You know, and they come back. They are tired. Humans, not so much. We've sweat glands. Dogs don't have sweat glands really. They have them on their paws. That's why they breathe out their mouth so much. That's how they regulate their heat. Okay, so this is 150. So we'll go again for the deadlift. We're doing one more warm-up set, or one more close to set. I don't know how to word it. So, am I going to go for 5 reps, slightly lighter, or 4 reps, slightly heavier? First person is always to say either W or the letter OR will do it. How do you think of good videos ideas? They just come to me. It's just about it's just script writing. That's all it is. I don't actually the videos themselves in a lot of ways don't matter. The more epic you can get the background, that's an easy thing to do. So if it's pissing rain, that makes something look harder. Music would be the big one. Realistically, like if I told my story and I had a good background and I didn't put music to it, I would not. All the videos that went viral or got more than 10 million views or something like that, all of those videos would not have gotten to that point without music, without choosing cinematic music that goes well with the song. And I've actually proven that. I made a video where it's me screaming into the cliffs, and I uploaded it deliberately without music, with the tagline saying, wait until you see the difference of this video with music, because I was so confident that it was just built well for a piece of a certain Hans Zimmer song that he used on a James Bond film. And then I uploaded that video with the James Bond music on it. And the first time I did it, it got to 5 million views compared to the first one, which got like 400,000. So that's the difference. The only thing that was different in it was one didn't have music, and it was the one that went first. So you could argue that like the first one, they're used to it. The audience is used to it. They've seen it. They don't want to see it again. So if I had done it with music the first time and then compared it to without music the second time, they've already seen it. So why would I want to see it without the music? So I tried to make it as much of a scientific test as possible, where you have to have something called the control, which is here's the thing without the applied other thing. And so the thing was the video without music. And now let's apply this new thing. Let's apply this new variable, which is music, and let's see how it did. And went up. Anyway, first person to write the letter or W. Or W. Mithner said or, so Mithner will get it. Alright, so we'll do repetitions. So that's 150. So we'll get that up to maybe 165. Will I have to go to 170? I'll go to 165, and I tell you what, if I'm feeling up to it, if it's all safe, I'll do 6 reps, but always listen to the body. 150. Yes, that's 5. 7.5. Move this back a little bit actually. Just realised you can't really see the weight. You can't see the weight, you can't feel it. Alright, so this is 165 kilos, which is, I don't know, 300 pounds? No, more than that. Be like 350 pounds? 300, yeah. Multiply 165 by 2.2, and you'll know how many pounds it is. Press that first. Let's get this aside. Oh, fuck's sake. Okay, there you go. That's good. Okay, that's all. I think I'll start calling the later sets. I won't call them warm sets because even though the purpose is to continue warming up and getting ready, I'm going to call them test sets. That's what I'm going to call them from now on. Test sets. Or preparation sets maybe. Because warm up is it's a different category. And I don't want anyone to associate what I'm saying to be anywhere close to any of that fucking dickhead alpha male shite. Your warm up is my workout, or your workout is my warm up. Shut the fuck up, everybody starts somewhere. I absolutely hate people who shit on other people in the gym because they're not lifted well, or they're real weak and feeble. It's like, yeah, good. They're there to work on it. And you're like shitting on them for what? For putting the effort in to try and better themselves? Shut the fuck up. Anyone making an attempt to improve themselves and putting an effort in to do it, even if they're not doing it well, even if they're struggling, even if they're like, you know, they have an obesity problem and they're trying to go on a diet and they break it all the time and it's hard for them, you know. You know, I have a very low, what do you call it, short fuse. I have a very short fuse for people who try to, like, you know, take down others because they're like, you know, oh, I'm slightly in better shape than you, therefore, because I would wish myself to be in better shape, I'm gonna throw that negativity that I have upon myself onto you. Anyone who gets down to the gym, or anyone who, like, you know, tries to lose weight or put on muscle or get better or something like that, should always be met with the exact same. Everybody in that gym should be giving them the thumbs up. Doesn't matter their age, doesn't matter their gender, doesn't matter their, you know, their fitness level, their muscle level. They're trying to better themselves. How about, you know, whoever that person is that's shitting on them, how about they be a better person mentally? Maybe they should better themselves. Okay, what am I doing now? I'm going to bring this over here and I'll pull. I overshot. So we're doing one more round of everything. This is going to be the last round, the last circuit of the whole exercise. So, though I very much appreciate everybody's. Actually, no, wait, one more. I'll give you one more for the split squats because that's for stability muscles. So it's not a number target that I have on myself. So you guys can still have that one, but the pull-ups I need to do according to my plan. My workout plan. So last time I did reps of 4 for the pull-ups was not really I don't really have oops, 30. Okay, I've done 30 and that was back in excuse me, March. So I'd hope that I can do more than 30 kilos. Let's get the weight vest on. Let's not go crazy. Let's go under and see how we are. Let's go. Fuck it. Let's go to 30. We'll go to 30 and we'll try for 4 repetitions and see where we're at. Now I'm consistent at doing pull-ups in a way that a lot of people would be like, you know, that's not how you do a pull-up properly, which is towards the end I flick my knees up, which kind of gives me a kind of a gap where I can cheat my way up a little bit rather than using purely my back to do the entire exercise. Now for me, I like the idea of being able to do a strong pull-up because it's a functional thing that you can do in life. You might need to climb over something at some point for whatever reason, and the motion of me flicking my heels up is something that I would do naturally. if I was trying to climb over a wall or something. So I don't bother too much with my form not being perfect for, say, a CrossFit, a strict CrossFit event, or something like that. My form is far from perfect when it comes to deadlifting and squatting, but I try my best on those two exercises. But pull-ups, as long as I'm consistent with myself, that's all I care about. Because that means if I did 7 on one day and then another day I did 8, I can't look back on myself and be like, oh, you did 8, but you also kind of jolted yourself up a little bit when you did 8. If I'm always jolting myself up a little bit, then that means that if I did that for 7 and now I did it for 8, I've improved. A simple example with myself for overhead press, something that a lot of people do naturally, but if you should try to avoid it, is they'll dip down a little bit and then go like that. And that small motion, that's your hips working, that's not your shoulders. See what I mean? I'm not moving my shoulders here. They'll go like that. And what that does, that pops the weight above their shoulders a huge amount. It makes a very big difference, even though it's a very small amount of movement that you're actually doing with the rest of your body. And I try to make sure that I always avoid that. I don't jump the weight up. However, when I try to do this with the pull-ups, I find I can't. There's no cue that I can give my body to prevent me from doing it. Where I'm doing the overhead press, if I spread my legs out nice and wide and clench my bum, it kind of tells my body not to try and do that thing. Whereas I don't really know how to do something like that with the pull-ups, so I just said, fuck it. I am going to be consistent with not doing it properly, with doing it my way. So we're aiming for 4 repetitions. 1, 2, 3, 4. Aiming for 4 repetitions. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, that was fucking excellent. 5 reps. That went really, really good. So everything for the next sort of circle of exercises is the last. That was the last pull-ups. Now we have the very last of the split squats. And so on this one, you guys can decide, do you want to see the last set of split squats, Bulgarian split squats, to be more repetitions or more reps? Sorry, more reps or more weight? As always, first person to say either of those words. Wait, okay. Caden. Is it Caden? Caden. And in answer to, was it you, Caden, who's answered that question? No, Sean. Sean Hennessy was asking, how does brain cancer affect the body? So, I deliberately have kept my head in the ground about this sort of stuff because I looked into it a little bit after I was told I had cancer, and I was just like, fuck it, I'm never looking at that shit again. I do not need to know more. That is not fun. So basically what it does is it goes from the brain, the tumour spreads, it gets into your nervous system, and then it shuts off your heart and your lungs and all that good shit to keep you alive. It just shuts that stuff down. That's how you die from it. So when you see people who are getting, like, again, I haven't done a huge amount of research on this, but when you, like, brain cancer, you don't see a lot of people with brain cancer in hospital beds unless the tumour itself is affecting tissue in the brain. Now your brain, different parts of your brain, even if you're right-handed or left-handed, different parts of the brain affect different things. Me being right-handed and the tumour being in the left temporal lobe of my brain, fucking hell, what the flies out today. That meant that the possibility of things being lost were my sense of speech, my ability to speak, possibly sight, and balance. Now, I was really lucky in they were able to remove a big chunk of the tumour. I lost no sight. Sometimes I fainted because of a lack of balance. That only really affected me the one time, and then my loss of speech, that only lasted 6 days. Which was a fucking blessing because they said that it would it'd take about 6 months to 18 months, so a year and a half for the speech to come back. So I was very lucky with that, and that is again because of the particular area of my brain. Now, if I was left-handed, I don't know what the left temporal lobe does for people who are left-handed, but like your brain is fucking crazy like that. You know, right-handed, left-handed people means that like. This part is for this bit here. There's some things that are consistent. For your frontal lobe, your frontal cortex, that is the part of the brain that measures risk assessment. Now, the only reason I know that is because men, their frontal cortex, their frontal lobe, whatever the proper... I should have this back here, thinking about it. No one can actually hear what I'm fucking saying. The frontal cortex, that affects risk assessment, meaning that if you go into a situation, cycling your bike, and you see a red light but there's no cars nearby, and you make a risk assessment to be like, yeah, I could cycle through there, there's no cars around, this is safe. Now imagine there's like a car very far away, but it's going fast. As you get older, the risk assessment starts to develop more, and you start to look at it and go, no, this risk is not worth it, because for the sake of me waiting for that car that's possibly going quite fast, even though it's far away, for that to zip past me and then for me to keep going, that's only going to be about 3 seconds in the difference. When you are a young man, you're bad at that. When you're a young person, you're bad at that. Women, they develop their frontal cortex far sooner than men, which makes a lot of sense when you think about how much young men go fucking bananas and trash shit and do stupid shit. That is literally because our brains have not developed as quickly. So if you go to music festivals, you know, the girls will be having fun or whatever, but it'll be the lads that are like setting fires to tents and shit like that, because they literally do not have the sense to, it's not like they lack common sense. Obviously there's a high amount of association with that, where it's like, why did you burn your tent to the ground? Did you not think that would bring over stewards and get you kicked out of the scenario? And that's the thing, when you don't have a good level of risk assessment, you don't think, oh yeah, this will be fun for like 3 minutes, and then like bad shit is going to happen because of this. So no, it's actually not worth the risk, because it's like, what do I get from it versus what am I going to lose from it? So yeah, that's one of the reasons why they say that women girls mature a lot sooner than boys. They've been saying that for fucking years. They didn't need a brain surgeon to fucking tell you that. but there's actually scientific research to back that up. I don't know when they did. They might have discovered that in the fucking, you know, the 50s for all I know. Okay, this is the last time we are doing the Bulgarian split squat. So first person in the chat to say more reps or more weight will be the decider for the last dance, the last one-legged dance. Kerry or Dublin? As in, where am I from? I'm from Dublin, but Kerry's just lovely. More reps. Josh wants more reps. Okay. Someone was asking, like, am I a vegetarian? I'm not a vegetarian, but something that I respect vegetarians and I respect vegans quite a lot because they are very good for the planet. I think it's very annoying how much a bunch of dickheads tend to give vegans in particular a really bad name, because it's that same old problem where it's, you know, a small percentage of people that are like, you know, up their own holes ruin it for all the other people, you know? I know loads of people who are vegans, they don't fucking blab on about it all the fucking time. They just live their life like that. And they are a massive input to the planet. It is definitely, having vegans in the world is definitely a positive thing. However, just to go back on what I said earlier on, something that I believe in strongly is that if you do not have, if you're not willing to kill an animal that you are going to eat yourself, and the same thing, wasting food like chicken or beef or fucking fish, whatever, or letting it go off, that really annoys me, because both of those things, if you're like, you know, oh, I couldn't kill a chicken, it's like, you eat chicken burgers all the time. You don't have the dignity to actually take the life of this animal yourself, and yet you'll eat it. Like, that's fucking, I think that's a real lack of empathy. Like, you either should be okay with doing it yourself and having respect for the creature that's going to die so that you are able to, you know, live better and to become a part of your own body, but yet you won't actually take the action yourself. I think that's a real lack of, I don't know, mental strength, that you want to distance yourself. It's like, oh, I don't want to see it. It's like, well, fuck you. If you don't want to see it, if you don't want to do it, then you don't deserve to have an animal killed so that you can have a tasty meal. I think that's quite an immoral way of thinking. If you're not willing to actually, and at the same time, I am in no way supportive, like, you know, caged animals or like factory farming. I do refuse to eat like meat that's, you know, built in or not built, but made in places like that. I reckon if I was living in America, I think I would have to become a vegetarian, because it is just the type of farming that they have over in the States is so fucking different to Ireland and England. It's disturbingly different. Anyway, enough misery, enough death and misery. Let's finish out these repetitions for split squats. Fuck's sake.
Yeah, that was good.
Take a little break. Get my breath back to do the last 10. Who else is looking forward to the... yeah, we're going to be adding more weight in a minute. But that's going to be for the deadlift and the overhead press. So, what are the... is it possible for you to fully recover? Yeah, I mean, not currently. If there's no medical progress, then no. There's no realistic hope. There's always the freakish amount of, like, just, I wouldn't call it a miracle, but some people just get a freakish amount of luck and just cure their own cancer for unknown reasons. It does happen. Unfortunately, often when stuff like that happens, they'll falsely associate the reason that their cancer was cured to, you know, something that they thought might have helped. And so they fixate upon that. It's like, oh, I just had lemon juice every morning and I cured my cancer. And it's like, you know, good for you that you're clear of it, but then it's also, that's good to tell scientists so that they can go off and test it out on themselves or you know, on experiments. Or, you know, you tell it out to loads of people. It's kind of tricky because it's like, who knows, that could be the reason. Could be the reason. But then you give other people false hope and they like don't take chemotherapy because they want to take like, you know, coffee enemas, which is an actual thing. Some people have died because of that. The holistic approach. I'm not against the idea of a holistic approach at all, in the slightest. I think everybody should try and, you know, test out as much as you can that's kind of safe. But at the same time, don't, you know, go against what has been clinically shown to increase the likelihood of living for a longer period of time, and that's almost always chemotherapy and surgery. My mom had breast cancer. She doesn't have breast cancer at all anymore because of chemotherapy. It's not an outright cure. Chemotherapy has cured many people's cancer. And there is scientific proof to back that up. Someone might claim that they've done coffee enemas and they saved their life. Very little scientific research to say that though. Big difference between, what's that thing where it's like, oh god, delusion and, oh, there's another C word, I can't think of it off the top of my head. Someone in the chat, I very much appreciate if you can fit, like if you know the word that I'm thinking of, where it's like, that's oh god, now I can't think of either of the words. It's like, one is the reason being, and then the other one is coincidence, and one is, oh god, causation or, anyways, I'm sure someone will guess the word. I'll have a look over after we finish this. Okay. Let's see. Did anyone else? Was anyone else? Yes, that's it. Correlation. Correlation or causation. Thank you very much, Sinead. Yeah, Sinead, thank you. Yeah, so very often someone will try an alternative form of medical care for their particular kind of cancer. And again, God bless them. It's people that do this often are sort of guinea pigs and discover stuff for other people. But then the problem is, too often they will make an association that they did this thing, and that was the whole thing. That was the whole reason why they were cured of cancer. Oh, I did ice baths every morning, and then, so that's the whole thing. But then something that they might leave out that they might not know was actually far more relative. Would be like, you know, maybe there was something they were eating, and it was something they were eating and the ice bath, and those two things come together, and that's actually the reason. Or it could become something completely different. Maybe it's just simply she wasn't aware of it, but she moved house. You know, let's say she was in a busy city and she moved closer to her hospital, and then there was just less pollution in the air, and then that was the cause. You know, that's the problem with a lot of sort of stuff like that. So someone might claim ice baths were the reason why I lost my all the cancer went away, and so that's correlation rather than causation. There isn't science to say it was definitely this thing. We tested out 1 million people doing ice baths, and we found that the people that did them had a 20% more likely chance to cure their cancer. That right there, that proves causation, as opposed to someone claiming that they started doing this thing which they had never done before, and they assumed that that was the thing that changed everything. Okay, I'm going to have a go at 4 repetitions. On the overhead bar for 70 big schmackers for 4 repetitions. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this one. I'm going to give it a go. But the most important thing is to not try and push past the safety barrier. I would much sooner do 2 repetitions, not even make it 3. Much rather do 2 repetitions and back out at the 3rd and not hurt my back. That's a better way to leave this this workout, this exercise routine. I won't enjoy it. I'll be a bit kind of, I thought I had it, you know. I won't be delighted with myself. However, I imagine 30 minutes after that, 30 minutes, when I'm in the shower or whatever, I will then be thinking to myself, yeah, I'm glad I did that. I'm glad I listened to myself. I listened to my sensible self rather than my ego. And now, you know, my back isn't sore. My back isn't going to be sore when I'm watching the football later on. My back isn't going to be sore tomorrow, right, man? Okay, so we're hoping to safely get to 4 repetitions. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just making sure that there's not going to be any little excuses getting in my way. This tarp is really good for like netting, prevents the rain coming in, but the edges are very, very close to when I'm doing an overhead press, so just making sure that they're not in the way. Aiming for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That felt real good. That felt very safe and secure. I'm very happy with that. Tiny bit, you might have seen it there. Back was leaning back a little bit. That's okay. You can lean back a small amount, but when you start doing this shit, that's where it becomes a niche. You shouldn't be doing that. That is a, I can't remember what the term is, spinal flexion, I think it is. You do not want to convert your spine like that. You're asking for trouble. Especially when you imagine you have the weight of a fucking person above your head, you know. That's how you slip a disc. Okay, now one more to go. One more exercise to go. Big fucking deadlift. Big fucking monster of a thing. Now, I don't know if I'd consider this to be the most dangerous, but I feel like if you do this wrong, a deadlift is the thing that is most likely to cause an injury. So the overhead press is probably the most dangerous because if you're knocked off your balance, if something like flashes into your face, you end up dropping the weights, and they could land on your head, or you never know. Whereas with a deadlift, it would just hit the ground.
Yeah, you gotta hold up.
But it most certainly puts your body under the most strain. So you do not want to be doing this in the wrong way, because if you're doing, you know, 180 kilos or whatever I'm set up to do today, and you're doing it the wrong position, strain the wrong part of your back, that's not good. That's no bueno. Okay, so we did 180 3 repetitions. Now I only really want to do one more of these. Okay, so I'll leave the choice up to the audience. Will we go for Will we go for 77 or 80? 77 or 80. So the first person to write down the number 7 or 8, 80. Everyone's in there like a fucking dart. Okay? 80 it is. Alright, we're going big. We're going big, fucking swinging big. This is some heavyweight. Yeah, this one's not for the faint-hearted. Okay, so 60, 100, 140, 180. Okay. Really don't want to fucking work today. The barbell's afraid. Come on, girl. Come on. Don't get me wrong, I do like working, having a gym in my own garden, but this is the kind of thing where it is nice to have a proper gym for stuff like this. It tends to not be unbearably cramped. Okay. Okay, and Instagram. I'm very sorry, guys, but I'm going to have to knock you off because this would be a personal best for me, and I need to make sure that I'm recording myself to make the form, basically, make sure that I'm not fucking my back up. And so, because I don't, the live streams don't get shared on Instagram. Sorry, have to cut you guys off. If you want to see, if you've been like, you know, whoa, is he going to be able to lift them weights? If you want to actually see this happening, then go over onto either Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, and it's live on all those other channels as well. So, if you're compelled to see the finished product of the that part of the weightlifting, you can migrate over onto those other channels. This, you know, won't take too long to set up the camera, so go, 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 go. And if you're going over to YouTube, please fucking subscribe. For the love of God, subscribe. No one subscribes on YouTube and it's worth loads of money. So to the side. Okay. Big weight. Alright, every little thing I can do to make it so I'm able to lift the weights. Every little dirty trick. 180! Woo! Oh yes! Oh yes! Today's gonna be a good day. Ah. Now, if I don't mind, I think I will have myself a tasty beverage. I think I shall treat myself to a tasty beverage, have myself a shower, have myself a little bit of food. Maybe I'll walk the dogs again so that they are absolutely knackered. And then I shall go to Brewdog Waterloo and watch the Norway-England match. And by all means, if you live in the London area and you want to watch the match, you can come with me. And if you are one of the first 10 people to come over to me and say, or sorry, not say, write on my t-shirt. I'm going to have a white t-shirt so everyone can write on it either skull or cheers. You'll get a free pint or a free drink. I tried to book in, well I did book in a table for that bar, and the person who was taking the table bookings knew who I was on social media, and so she was very who was it, a she or a he? I'm not going to say their name because I wouldn't want to do that to them. I think it's a she. Anyway, I think she gave a £200 bar tab. Just, you know, I know what you're doing. You're nice. We'll give you a bar tab. And so I thought, you know what? I'll take advantage of that, and I'm going to give half of it to the people who follow the channel. Everybody wins. Brewdog, you know, that particular site, Waterloo site, has hopefully some more people show up. They get a free pint. Brewdog gets a bit more business, and you know, I like sharing shit. Anything that's good in the world, except you, your fucking your girlfriend or your wife, unless you're into that thing, no kink shaming. But everything that's good in the world, I think you should share. You could argue love. You're sharing love. Anyway, I'm done. I'm done sculpting myself into a specimen. Good luck, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Oh God, I enjoyed that. I really do. I don't want to use the word pity. Pity is Pity is a very condescending word, but I wish more people could enjoy working out. I really do. I think, like, because it's just so fucking good for your health. It's so good for your physical health. It's so good for your mental health. And some people just don't like working out. They just don't enjoy it. And I feel like if you are one of the people who is lucky enough to enjoy running, to enjoy lifting weights, to enjoy HIIT classes, to enjoy cycling, push bike classes, whatever you are, you need to remember that that is an incredible gift to have. To enjoy fitness, even though it is hard work. That's often why it is so much fun to do. But to enjoy any kind of a habitual thing that's directly related to your own fitness, you need to take advantage of that. And you need to be grateful to the universe for giving you that. It's not something that most people tend to learn. If you like yoga, it's often just because that was in you. That was part of you. You just found it and you are now expressing it. So if you have a gift, if the universe has given you a gift where you enjoy exercise, fuck, you better take advantage of that as often as you can. Because an age will come, a day will come where you won't be able to take advantage of that. And at that point, oh my, you will not be pleased that you did not use it at every opportunity that you have. So get out there and fucking use your body. I think it was Socrates had a fucking great quote. I'm going to butcher it now, but the general part of the quote is it is a sad thing to think that a man or woman, you know, we'll change that around for changing for the times, will go through his life without ever discovering what his full potential could be, and it's to his body, what the full potential of his body could be. And I think that's a great way to live, where it's like to, and it's also, so many people go by that, where it's like finding your limits. That's how you find your limits. Pushing yourself to the point where it's like, fuck, that's who I am. I now know who I am. I know what I'm capable of. And it's a wonderful thing to know that, to know who you are. Anyway, come on, kind of England, sort of England. The weather has been cruel to New Zealand, America, and Great Britain, whereas the weather has not been cruel to Ireland.